Let go. What's that? What's that? Let go. Yeah.
Oh, you want some more? Wanna get off floors? Wanna open doors? Wanna walk on moons? Oh, you want that soon? Better pay your dues now, nigga.
What is good, everybody? This is your man, Teasy. I am back, season 3. We are back for a wonderful, wonderful season. Many people that I've been able to bring onto this wonderful show for these introspective conversations. I am more than blessed to be here, healthy to be here. Life is good. I've been feeling great. The energy's been wonderful. It's been nothing more than a great time for me. And we are back now. If you guys go to our YouTube channel, back and better than ever for season 3 of Teasy's Table. Feeling good. If you guys see me, my hair's getting longer, my beard's getting deeper, but you know, I'm still here and I'm feeling good. I got another wonderful season to bring you guys. But if you look to my immediate left, this man is here, somebody that I've looked up to, as he's maybe a year or two older than me. We about the same age group. But this man has been honestly somebody I've been watching for a long time. Been a fan of his from all his work. Former welterweight champion. This man has gotten, you know, from his demeanor in the world of combat and how he's always handled himself is something that I've always admired. And when my friend Kel was like, "Yo, man, I could try to link you up with this man," I was like, "If he's down to do it, please set it up." And we look forward to bringing him next time he's in Florida to the Swerve City podcast studio inside as well with my brother Swerve. So thank him for taking this time. I'd like to introduce the legend, the man that you know, many people will say one of the greatest boxers of all time. I will say that as well. This man's got so much heart, resilience, soul. He also has his own podcast we're going to talk about. No other than the man, the legend, one of the GOATs, Shawn Porter. What is good, man? Showtime. What's up?
It's showtime. I'm good, man. Quite the introduction there. A couple of little white lies, but it's all good.
Little white lies.
Yeah,
Hey, man.
I ain't older than you. Stop playing.
Yo, you are.
I ain't older than you. Stop playing.
I'm 88.
Huh?
I'm 88.
I'm 87. I'm 87.
Okay. Yeah. Got me by a year. You know, my parents decided to link up a little later after yours.
I get it. Yeah.
But first of all, man, let's get into this, brother. I am more than excited, brother. You know, in the entertainment business, you really meet people that you really, you know, you look up to a lot of times, because sometimes you meet your heroes and you be like,
Yeah, they say never meet your heroes.
Right. And then you meet the ones that are really, really good people, good folks that take the time out. I thank you for giving me this time, brother. So I always go into the first question of our show with something that a lot of us in the entertainment business don't get asked.
Oh, yeah. What is this? Oh, this is my closet.
That's your closet?
Yeah, this is my closet. That's where I am. That's a great question. Yeah, I'm in my closet. Pretty nice, huh? Big closet.
I got you. The first question I ask people is, how you doing? How's life, brother? We don't get that often.
No, you don't. And how often do we tell the truth?
Very rarely.
Yeah, it's always, "Oh, I'm good. How about you?" You know what I mean? We're very quick to, you know, pass the buck right back so that the focus is not on us. But to be honest with you, man, I'm definitely I'm in a season right now that I never expected to be in. But in this season, I still am experiencing a lot of success, a lot of great energy, and I can definitely say it's a season that I wish I was never in. I know my mistakes, and just trying to make them right. You know what I mean? But even with all that, man, the opportunity to get up with my boys and be able to focus on them and do everything that I have to do for my family and things like that. Get on this podcast with you. This is definitely serving as a bit of a distraction, a fun distraction nonetheless. I've also done, I'm a certified life coach. And so I also understand that sometimes just changing your environment or your scenery can do something for you. So normally I would do this interview in my podcast room, and I got this big table in my dresser, in my closet. I literally just put everything on the floor. That way I can be in here in some just a different atmosphere and feel something different. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm definitely well aware of myself, of my life. And I can truly say that through the midst of it all, God is good.
God is a good God, man. And I know somebody who's been in the bright lights and not even going to the training and the mental side, but just someone as an entertainer who has gone through the bright lights, thousands of people, just you and your opponent in that ring, to now going through a different process of life where it's like you're going through some changes.
Yeah.
And these changes are from, it's just sometimes has it been difficult to just sometimes go in the house, sit down and close the door and just be like, well, I'm just to myself now. Like I'm just figuring that
I've
out.
yeah, I've had to go be by myself a few times, which is, I have no problem with that because again, I understand, the process and everything. But I think the main thing for me when I retired, I had so many plans and so many things really just literally set up. I fought on Saturday. By the time the following Monday came around, I was in full go with so many other things.
Wow.
And to now have this come up and literally have to stop everything else and prioritize, that's what has definitely helped mold me and change me and help me become a better man than I even thought that I could become at this point.
So you sit back and you go through your whole career, and now you go through the elements now where it's like, you know what, I'm a father now. I've been I'm a father now. I have so many things on my plate. I'm a wonderful wife. I'm a father. What are some of the things that you've? What are some of the biggest adjustments you say you've had to make? Like the biggest adjustment that has been difficult to handle for you in this time. What has been the biggest adjustment?
Putting business down. I mean, simple as that. My wife would say, "Yo, you're not being present. You're not with us. You're not taking
Mm.
care of the boys. You just turn something on, and then you get on your phone." And I'm like, "Well, I have to. If I don't, then we fall apart." Da 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 da. And that's been the hardest thing for me is just being able to put down everything and be with my family. The side that I had to deal with the most in boxing, you make a lot of sacrifices.
Mm.
So coming out of boxing and still having that mindset to make sacrifices for a long time. I've been retired for a little more than just a smidgen more than a year now, but for pretty much an entire year, I always thought that I had to continue to make those sacrifices that I've made time and time again before the family, time and time again before the wife, and the list goes on. So I'm learning how to kind of reprioritize some things and which sacrifices needed to be made and what sacrifices can, kind of be put on hold. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Lord knows I've been there because I've been outside in these streets. I have double the kids you have, which I didn't expect that, but some nights you just kind of things happen.
No, I don't
Uh
know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
know, right? I know, right? So I was like, I sit back and I always wondered. I'm like, you go from the spotlight of the boxing world to now going ahead and maintaining the family. So what has been you looking back at life, and even a shout out to your pops too. I'm gonna give a shout out to your pops too. What
Absolutely.
what has been now as a transition moving on, going into the podcast world? Now
Yeah.
you're doing podcasting, you're getting into other lines of business.
Yeah.
For also talk about let's get into the podcast world. Talk about what has been, there's also there's the good things with it, and there's some challenges with the podcast world as well.
Sure. Sure.
Especially
Actually, there are. Yeah.
building the right team, the
Yeah.
subjects, the guests, the people. I know I deal with it too, brother. Tell me a little bit about that as well, and your podcast. What motivated you to do that, and
Man,
for that nature?
yeah, I think the hardest part for my podcast for us is me contacting guests on time to get them on the show. I'm super super bad, man. Like we do our shows on Sunday. I'm hitting somebody up on Friday or Saturday asking them to come on the podcast. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, from the team, I had identified my team at least a year before I actually went to them and say, "Yo, I'm about to do a podcast. I want you guys to be a part of it." That's Carson and Ant. They're on the podcast. I mean, literally top to bottom, I have had zero struggles with my podcast. I would say again, going back to just making sure my guest list is on point before the time is too late and ticks off. That's
Absolutely.
one problem. And then another problem that I am trying to stay away from is I'm realizing that um while you have a lot of content and a lot of your content is good content, some content's not good content. Then beyond that, the good content that you consider to be good may not be good for 200 of the couple of thousand followers you have.
Talk
And
about
it's
it.
like at that point, you have to kind of remove your emotions and remove your state of mind and remain faithful and remain positive through it all. And one thing I started to tell myself is, hey, not every episode is for everybody. You may not like the last episode, but you better like the next 25. You know what I mean? So I think it's good, man. I think we're giving the people what they want. I think that the way that the way that we deliver and also the perspective that I have as a former fighter, a former world champion, definitely has paid dividends for us. And the other side of this podcast, what I'm trying to do is just do some crossover stuff. Yes, this is a boxing based podcast, but I want to get into bringing on entertainers. I want to get into bringing on executives. I want to get to want to get to the point where I'm bringing on doctors and lawyers and people who can really share their wealth and their knowledge with my audience. So that is like the next step for my podcast, and I do believe that we're almost there. But to this point, man, no no complaints. And the last thing I'll say is and definitely this room and the way that I'm dressed right now, I was doing a show on Fox inside PBC Boxing,
Absolutely.
and I was suited up and booted every single show. Once the pandemic happened, I'm at home. I get all this gear because I'm like, all right, yeah, we're gonna be remote like everybody else. I'm watching ESPN. I'm watching FS1. Everybody else is remote. I get an email that your show is no longer happening, and I'm like, well, shit, man. I was just getting into the groove, and I was just really starting to love what I'm doing. I don't want it to end. I
Right.
was like, I got all this. I got all this equipment. Let me hit up this guy and see what he knows about podcasts. I hit him up and everything just took off from there. And for me, and definitely why I'm dressed right now, was I consider this another opportunity for me to expose my brand, expose who I am. And
Hmm.
just because I'm at home with you doing a show doesn't mean I can't, you know, get how I like to be and do the things that the way I like to do them. So it was a love from being in the studio, and I took that love home and put it on my podcast.
That shows a lot of awareness, man, and to understand how important you took it. Because I think as us entertainers, I have my associates in communications, and I also learned a lot about the podcast world, but also how to brand yourself in it and how to separate yourself. Because you would think that with someone of your wonderful personality, that boxing would be 100% of everything that you talk about. But you're a kind of
Yeah,
person that you're still a human being. There's so much going on in the world. Like when I first realized you was tapped in different things, and I knew it was work. I knew you was in another world. Was when you brought my homie Big E to do the intro.
oh
That's
yeah,
my man. So
yeah,
I was like, not only do I look up to this dude, but he awesome. He knows. He's aware.
yeah,
In the
yes.
wrestling world, for us, it's always being aware, seeing who's aware of what's going on. I happen to be a
Well,
music producer, and okay, speak on it.
yeah, I was gonna say that the boxing world is so small, and what managers and promoters and advisors and stuff like what they expose us to is not what everybody wants.
Right.
Everybody wants to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants a show. And what they expose us to is you get in the ring, you win, I'll make sure you get where you want to be. They don't give us the in between. You show up to this press conference and you say XYZ, and it's going to get you a couple of $1,000 more or a couple of $100,000 more when you get there. They don't give us all that. And so as I started to see the way other fighters were operating, definitely Floyd Mayweather, when I've seen the way that he was operating and the shows that he was putting on, I got to the point where I was like, I can't just be me anymore. It's been great being me, and everybody loves me. But then now let me give them a piece of me that they've never seen before. And so when we went and got Big E, it was simply, how can I get people? It was right before I fought Errol Spence Jr.
Yes, it
And my
was.
thing was, how can I get people who wouldn't normally buy my fight to buy my fight? Let me incorporate someone else that's connected to an audience that I'm not connected to. And that was really the source in my mindset behind getting Big E involved. And then we ended up pulling it off again. And I would definitely say this. I think that I caught on just a tad bit too late. But the best part about it was I caught on, I'm aware, I learned, and now I can give it to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And us in the wrestling world, I like to switch things up on the interview. So I'm gonna switch gears real quick.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm down for whatever.
The wrestling world. So instead of asking the favorites, let's have some fun here. Instead of asking the favorite wrestlers and all that, I'm gonna do it this way. You got a dream card. This is Showtime Shawn Porter's WrestleMania. Let's switch things up. We got the serious stuff out. There's some fun stuff here for me.
Yeah.
Dream card. Your main event. It could be any two wrestlers from any era. But they have to be like two main event people.
Yeah.
Shawn Porter builds his own WrestleMania. We're gonna build 3 matches here for fun. Who's your heavyweight championship match? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? What we doing? Heavyweight
The
championship
first
match.
one, the first one that came to my mind, and let me, this is my disclaimer. I'm an 80s baby, which means I watched wrestling in the mid to late 90s, going
Okay.
into the early 2000s.
Okay.
I haven't been on the WWE circuit. As a matter of fact, I probably stopped watching wrestling right when it went from WWF to WWE, just to
Okay.
kind of get you a
Got you.
sense of where I'm
Okay.
coming from.
In the
But
classic era, let's get it.
the first wrestling match that came to my mind was Macho Man Randy Savage
Ooh.
versus The Rock.
Ooh, never happened. Never happened. Never
That
happened.
was the first one that came to my mind.
Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy?
The bad guy in that situation would be, I think The Rock. I think The Rock would be the bad guy because I think he could go on either side. I think he could go on either side.
And you get
I think Macho Man, you just straight up loved Macho Man. You didn't really hate on Macho. Rock could give you a reason to hate on him so he could, slap you in the face and give you a reason to love him. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna build a tag team match. What's the tag team? Tag team championships.
Tag team championships. I'm gonna go with Bret Hart.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna go with Razor Ruddock.
Razor Ramon. Rest in peace. Razor Ramon.
Yeah, Razor Ramon against Rey Mysterio.
Ooh.
And Triple H.
Ah.
I'm doing some craziness over here, man.
This is who's the good guy and bad guy, and who wins
The good guy, bad guy is Triple H, and the bad guy is Triple H. And why it's gotta be a good guy and a bad guy?
They don't have to be. They can just be who they are. They
Yeah,
don't have to be.
yeah. I want them to be who they is.
Okay.
Because there really ain't no bad guy in the ring in that one. Except I think Triple H kind of,
Yeah,
he was edgy.
Can do that. Yeah, he can play.
Yeah, he was edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Because the reason why I asked that was seeing how you would.
I said Razor Ruddock.
you would.
I just realized. Yeah, I just realized what I said. Razor Ruddock.
You would see how you would like sway the crowd. That's the reason why I asked about the how would you book it as far as how the crowd would, how the crowd would, who would they go for?
Got you.
And then for the third matchup, I want you to put 2 celebrities in the ring like WWE used to do. 2 celebrities, or you can put a celebrity in the ring with a wrestler for the involvement. Is Showtime Shawn Porter hopping in the ring?
Wrestling ring?
Yeah, you get the match in.
I doubt it.
You ain't gonna be involved somehow.
I doubt it. Nah,
your own card.
I doubt it. What's old boy's name? Paul? What? The guy that would walk people to the ring?
Paul
that
Heyman?
was no. Is that his name? Who was always with the Undertaker?
Paul Bear.
Yeah, that would be me. That would be me.
That'd
I ain't
be
doing
it.
nothing. I ain't doing nothing but suiting up and walk you to the ring,
Okay, okay. Let's add to
creating
that
creating a
then.
little creating a little chaos along the way. That's
Let's
all.
add to that. Let's book that matchup. Who you walking to the ring? Who they wrestling?
Uh, I'm walking Deontay Wilder to the ring.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Who he wrestling?
Who he wrestling? First one that came to mind was the Undertaker.
Wow, that's fire. That's
Yeah,
the main event. That's the main
yeah,
event right there.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now we go into music. I like to ask people this because this is a kicker.
Sure.
What's the theme song for you and Wilder? Who makes it?
Ooh, you came out of nowhere with that one. We
Try to
both
keep try to
Christian
keep you on your
men.
toes, bro. Try to keep you on your
Yeah,
toes,
we
bro.
we we both Christian men. Um, I think that if we had to come together and pick a song to walk for him to walk out to, I
Yeah.
think that we could. It would be easy for us to say, let's pick a gospel song, and then we go for it. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Beyond that, I think while I am definitely a Kirk Franklin stomp era kind of guy, um, we might soften it up a little bit and do some Fred Hammond. You know what I mean? We might do
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be such a contrast to Undertaker with the gong music and the Walking Dead and all that. For you
yeah,
guys to be like the life, like the
yeah,
light, the like the life
yeah,
and oh, that's fire. You
yeah.
got something, bro. You
You
got
know that you
something.
know Fred Hammond song, I Feel Good.
I don't know that by heart. I know my Christian
It don't
music, but
even
not
matter.
that.
Listen to it when you get a chance, and
I
then
will do.
as it comes on, you can see like where the mindset that being a walkout song comes from.
I got you. No problem. We'll do
Yeah,
my homework after this podcast and hit you up.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. Okay. So now I like to switch things up here. You're an older man, and
I'm 34. I'm 35.
no, oh no, I'm talking about like later in life. This is later. Oh no,
Oh,
you're young, bro. You're
okay.
younger, bro.
Yeah, I'm
We're the same age, bro.
35.
I ain't trying you, brother. My bad.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
So the
I said he
question is,
going at the age again.
no. The question is, you picture yourself as like like an older guy, like 20 years from now, 20,
Yeah,
30 years from now. You're
yeah,
OG, real certified
yeah,
OG.
yeah,
And you're sitting in the chair, you're sitting in the room, and then a younger you walks into the room,
yeah,
teenage years. It's just
yeah,
you two. It's you looking at yourself from
yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
What is this conversation you tell your younger self? What's the life advice you give a young Shawn Porter on the way up?
First of all, let me start here. When my first son was born, he's 4 years old now. When he was first born, I was just looking at him and I was thinking to myself, I got so much to give you. I can't wait. I got so much to give you. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is when he was first born, and I went through that for probably a good, I don't know, 6 months, probably less than a year. And I sat down one day and I told myself, be patient. It's gonna come.
Mm.
You can't. It's just not time for you to give him everything you got now. When it's time for him to be great and understand what you do to him to that point will be, what it needs to be done until he gets to that point. All that to say that if I saw a younger me walk into the room, I would go berserk. I have so much to give you.
Mm.
You need to sit down and you need to listen to me. And don't forget, I know you. So I know when you're gonna check out. Don't forget, I know you. So I know that I have your attention right now. Let's
Mm.
talk about this. Let's talk about this. And the advice I would give myself is I would probably tell myself to continue to be myself. I would tell myself to continue to use my discernment, continue to trust my heart, continue to do everything that I've done, to get to that point that I am at that point at that moment. But what I would tell myself is that some things are gonna come up in life, and in those moments, don't fight against it. I would tell myself, you're a fighter by nature. You're a fighter because that's where you come from. That's where your family comes from. And it's not always good to fight. Sometimes it's good to just listen, read, and react. And while I have a heart and a mind to be very analytical, to dissect things, I find understanding in practically everything. Really not a biased bone in my body. However, there are definitely moments where I should stop and listen more. And that's what I would tell myself. It's going to be some moments where you're going to have to stop and listen more. And don't be afraid of what your discernment is telling you. Just stop and listen.
Hey man, bro, that honestly is the best answer I've heard out of everybody I've asked because it's more logical. A lot of people say, "Oh,
What
just keep living,"
I mean,
or
honestly, man, this is going to be the best interview you've ever done.
talk,
And I
talk,
and I and I
talk,
say that I say that as humbly as possible.
talk, bro, talk, bro. You know, man, this is why I rock with you, brother.
No,
This is
to be
why.
honest though, man, yeah, no, like I damn, man, I am. I'm full of knowledge. I'm full of wisdom. Um, I'm 35, but I've lived a lot of life.
Talk about it.
And I was just in Texas at the national tournament, and I mean, I'm seeing kids as young as 10 years old, all the way up until mid 20s. And I'm telling all of the, I'm telling, I told some of these kids while I was out there, said, boxing will grow you up fast. You have to mature and get ready for everything that boxing is going to bring to you. You're
Wow.
going to grow up fast because the sport will force you to. And if you're not ready, if you're not focused, if you're not dedicated, you're going to fall behind and you're going to be extremely mad at yourself. You're going to be upset at the things you didn't get. Buckle down now and focus because this sport is going to move fast and you're going to have to keep up. And that's why at the age of 35, that's why I speak the way that I speak and I carry myself the way that I carry myself. I
Amen.
think between my dad and the sport, I definitely grew a lot quicker than most people. And I think I have a wealth of knowledge to extend to other people.
That is such an amazing thing because I sit back and you don't really see that very often amongst people, especially in the war of combat, and being able to sit there and have some the moral constructs that you do, the mental strength that you got to be able to have, not only to train, to diet, but to be the person of man, a quality that you are, which I've always respected and what I always looked up to, because it's
Yeah,
like that's not easy to do. It's not
yeah,
you hear the horror stories, but a
yeah,
man that could go into combat with another man and to still be able to maintain his dignity, his pride, his morals, his family structure, and to go in there understanding that hey, I might win and lose this fight, but I've never, I've seen a lot of people just in my time. I'm 34 years old. I've not seen somebody with the heart that you have, the
hmm
heart in the. It's so hard to explain sometimes because I'm like, yo, this dude has so much heart that he's able to
yeah,
go into the war of combat and still be a good dude towards his opponents,
yeah.
towards the business.
Here's a true story for you.
Talk to me.
Um, I turned pro, and I think my dad said something. This was early on as a pro too. I think my dad might have said something to me along the lines of, my I think my dad was practically trying to get me to show the personality that I show now,
Right,
but he didn't really say it that way. I think my dad said something along the lines of, you have to do something to get these people to notice you. If you don't do something to get them to notice you, you're not going to have the career you want to have. He
right.
said even the outfits that you wear to the ring, you need some stuff that dazzles. You need some stuff that looks really, really eye-catching because you're gonna need something more than just punching people, something more than just knocking people out. I
Amen.
go to my room, I sit down when having one of those quiet moments,
Right,
and I'm just thinking, trying to figure out like what could I do, what could I do, what could I do. At this point, we see Mayweather being the bad guy for the most part. At this point, we see other people call fighters out. We seen it work out, we seen it not work out. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I sat in my room for a good hour, quiet, thinking, what can I do? What alter ego? What can I do? And after like a good hour, probably longer than that, I literally, and I talk out loud. I talk to myself. I talk out loud. So, well, I got nothing. I guess I'll be myself.
mm,
And that
mm.
turned out to be the best decision I could ever make
Wow.
because while I was on my way to getting to a point of being able to have a big E in my corner, while I was on my way to getting to the point to get up in the ring and call Danny Garcia out when nobody in the crowd knew. TV didn't even know that I was getting in the ring to call him out. That's something that people don't know about. When you see a fighter get in the ring to call out another fighter, it's already been orchestrated by everybody that pushes the buttons.
Right.
When you see Errol Spence get in the ring with me after I beat Danny Garcia, that was orchestrated. That's why he's not getting in the ring, rah, rah, ha, ha, give me the mic, let me say what I gotta say. He already knew, like, I'm gonna wait my turn and they're gonna give me the mic because it was already designed that way.
Right.
I created the moment with Danny Garcia. But on my way to those certain moments, and there's been a few other moments as well, I was basically being molded and transformed into the person that could handle those moments. And if you really do analyze it and look at it, I handle all of those moments the way Shawn Porter would. I got in the ring and I'll never forget, I got in the ring and I called out Danny Garcia. And when I got in the ring, before I got in the ring, I said, what am I going to do? I need something that's going to make everybody notice me. I'm
Right.
not going to get in the ring and just stand there and wait for them to come over to me. So me and my dad told my dad I'm getting in the ring. Didn't even tell him that I was getting in the ring until he
Right.
came over to me. He said, let's do it. When I got in the ring, I started barking. I'm from Cleveland. That's what the dog pound do. That's what the
Cleveland
Browns do.
Browns.
We
Right.
bark.
Right.
That was what my mind said do. That's me though. I'm from Cleveland. That's me. I didn't go outside myself at all to get in the ring and call Danny Garcia out. That was desire. That was taking advantage of a moment. That was making the best of a moment. That was everything that I am. People
Right.
saw that right there in that moment. So, even when you've seen me do certain things and be a certain way, it's always there's a rhyme and a reason, but the reason always ends up being Shawn Porter being him, you know?
I want to give you your flowers for something that motivated me in life. And I have to be 100% honest with you here. I went through some major health concerns for my past couple years before I straightened it out and got my discipline together, and finally had to go in that room that you said. And I was in the hospital dealing with some blood pressure issues, and I'm sitting there in the room, and I remember I distinctively remember this, that I'm in the hospital and I'm sitting there and a notification comes on. Big body. So I rewatched the fight with you and Terrence Crawford. I just watched the fight,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just motivated by the press conference after and what you were saying, and
Mm-hmm.
just your understanding of life, and you talking to your pops and everything that happened. It motivated the heck out of me to
Mm.
get better, because
Mm.
it was a moment where there's some of my people that I looked up to in life, and I'll be dead honest with you, I'll be dead transparent with you here, that I looked up to is Allen Iverson, Ken Griffey Jr., Rashad Evans, who I got a chance to meet, and yourself. Just being totally honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat back and I was like, Shawn went into that fight with so much heart, and he goes into all his fights with so much heart. One thing that man's not going to do is give up. That man's
Yeah.
not going to give up.
Yeah.
The Allen Iversons of the world, the Rashad Evans of the world. One
Yeah.
thing that you guys will not do, win, lose, draw, whatever, is give up.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'm going to do is be in this damn hospital bed again and be
Mm.
down and give the hell up, because that's not what they would do. That's not what I should do for my
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
and my family. And you go through moments when you're kind of down, but I was like, oh, hell no. I
Yeah.
haven't been back in the hospital since.
Yeah. Good
And
for you.
I
I
worked
love
on my
that.
diet, working on things, still in the transition of getting this weight loss down. But I want to thank you personally,
Yeah.
because that motivation of not only watching that fight, I watched it for a different reason. It
Yeah.
was a recap that, the highlights came on and they had
Yeah.
the full fight. And I
Yeah.
watched it, and just the heart, it really motivated me to get right and to
Yeah.
focus on myself. And that was the kicking ass I needed. The kicking
Yeah.
ass sometimes is not going to come from your dad calling you, or from your girlfriend saying she's going to leave you if you don't get right, or your kids. Sometimes it can be something extremely random. And I'm
Yeah.
laying in that hospital bed with IVs all over the place, doctors
Wow.
coming, a catheter on, peeing every 2 seconds. And I'm
Mm.
sitting there watching your fight,
Yeah,
and just the way, just the heart that you've shown throughout your career. And in that match, I said, I'm never coming back here again. And it
yeah.
just, and thank you, thank you. I want to thank you. And it's
I got
something. Thank you.
and I got to tell you, I appreciate that testimony right there. But that is who I am. And again, was very easy for me to retire immediately after that fight. A lot of people thought that it was an emotional decision. A lot of people thought that it was premature decision. The list goes on, but it was easy for me because I know what I'm designed for. I am, as you can see, I'm made with a lot of heart, and to get in the ring and do what I had to do, to fight with the kind of style that I had, my body is built to endure.
Amen.
Um, but after all of that, I'm designed to motivate. I'm designed to inspire. I'm designed to bring hope. I'm designed to restore. And when I retired that night, and and people are like, "Well, what's he gonna do now?" I assure you, whatever I do now is gonna be great. But before and after it's done, someone will be motivated, someone will be inspired, someone will be touched, someone will walk in the room and leave a little bit different than when they arrived. And that is literally who I am. And for a long time, I did it with my fists. I did it with my movement. I did it with, the expertise, and I did it with my dad in my corner. The list goes on. But now, I look forward to people being able to share with me what you just shared with me, because to me, that's God confirming that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, you know?
Amen. Amen, man. Thank you. Before I get to the fun, some more fun questions. Thank you for being a true motivation in my life, brother. And you
Yes,
don't really get
sir.
a chance to meet people a lot
Yeah.
of times that you get to thank personally.
Yeah.
And even though this is a public platform, and you're taking your time to do this, which I thoroughly appreciate. Thank you.
Sure,
God
sure,
is good. That you
sure.
really, really motivated me in life, man. And I cannot thank you enough, brother. And it means the world once again. And from man to man, it means a lot to me, bro. Thank you.
Hey, listen, I'm an aspiring actor now. I have my feet stepping on the surface of Hollywood. I'm very close to closing some deals with some movies and things like that.
Okay, okay, let's
The
go.
the ultimate character for me would be to, and don't ask me which one, but the ultimate character for me to portray would be a superhero. And
Mm,
so obviously, I think you should probably know by now that I already consider myself to be a bit of a superhero. And so maybe I'll take what we just this little back and forth that we just did here, and capitalize on it.
absolutely.
To me, this is a superhero moment for me.
Amen.
And maybe I'll take this to my podcast and do something with it. I do the motivational message at the end of every show, and
Thank you.
maybe we could do something like that where we do a superhero moment. So thank you for that.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
A couple more fun questions before I let you go here. A couple fun questions, man. Here we go. Who was who was your favorite rapper growing up as a kid?
Oh, favorite rapper growing up as a kid and still is, man. I really love Busta Rhymes.
He's a
Really,
goat, bro. He's a goat,
really
bro.
love Busta Rhymes.
That dude is
Yeah,
nasty, bro.
yeah. I think he's rated he's in his own lane.
Yeah,
But I think ultimately, he's a little underrated.
I agree.
But
I agree.
I think he has his own lane.
Yeah,
Um, it's like a rocker. Like you got a whole bunch of rockers, but you got one rocker. Their rock music is just a little different. It's categorized as rock, but that sound is a little different. It's rap, but this it's just a little bit different. You know what I mean?
absolutely. He's like he's and like you said, he's in the old category by himself. But when people say the GOATs, everybody always says the same four guys: Tupac, Nas, Jay, and Biggie. They always say those guys,
Yeah,
but he is honestly his longevity and how long he's been relevant
yeah,
from young dreadlock Busta Rhymes to muscular
yeah,
Busta Rhymes to OG
yeah,
haircut Busta Rhymes to
yeah.
and still here and still making great music. He's it's nothing. That's nothing to just throw away, man. And how
So
great his music has
I,
been.
I,
What's up?
I know he was in the group back in the day. What was the name of that group he was in?
Leaders of the New School.
Say again.
Leaders of the New School.
Oh, you went mute. You went. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I got you now. I got you now. What? Yeah. What group
Uh,
was the name of the group?
Leaders of the New School.
Yeah. Leaders of the New School. He didn't have a different name when he was with Leaders of the New School, did he?
No, he was always Busta Rhymes.
Oh, he's always been Buster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
always Busta.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. They always ask about the island question. You're on the island, so you're on the island. You're by yourself. It's not like Castaway Tom Hanks. We ain't going that extreme, but you can only take one CD, old school CD, with you with your headset. Who you taking?
Old school CD, like any music.
Any music. You only take one though. This is for a vacation, a 7-day vacation. You only get one CD with the Walkman. Who you taking?
Oh Lord. I'm taking I'm taking Luther Vandross, and I think the name of the album is Never Too Much. Am I right?
No, that's very, very first one. When he first debuted that album. That album's fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fire. Yeah, you don't want to be on the island with Insane Clown Posse. No disrespect, but you definitely want something smooth on the island. I always say I'm taking like Teddy P, something like that. Bobby Womack.
Yeah, that's the name of the album. The name of the album is Never Too Much.
The classic, like 83.
I believe
84.
for me, beginning to end of that album is fire.
Absolutely. Classic.
Yeah.
Luther in the 80s, he had a run where everything was hitting. He always had something. You know what I mean? And that is an amazing catalog as well.
If I'm on my way out the door and I can't find my Luther, I'm grabbing Don't Be Cool.
Bobby?
I'm grabbing some Bobby.
You can't go wrong with the king of R&B, bro.
Don't be cruel.
Now, let me ask you an analyst question.
All right.
It's an analyst question of music. Of music. Okay. If you got Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
Who is the next one? Is it Usher? Is it, I hate to bring his name up because people don't like to say his name, but I have to say it for his musical catalog, R. Kelly? Are we saying Usher? Who's that next R&B guy under Mike on the R&B side?
Like on the R&B side, because
you got pop too, because Mike was both.
Yeah, Mike was pop, but I mean, like Luther, like that's R&B to me. Like I think the way R&B is now is different from the way that it used to.
Very true, very true, very true.
And so, to me, I would give you a top 3 for R&B singers would probably be my top 3 would probably be. I mean, there's just so many out there. I mean, I'm an Al Jarreau fan. If you can't tell by now, I'm straight old school.
Ooh, Al Jarreau.
I'm an Al Jarreau kind of guy.
Oh my God.
I saw him in concert once, a couple years back. You know what I mean?
He do my song. It's just the radio.
Yeah.
He do my joint.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I love that video too. I love
What's
that
the name of that song? Yeah. Yeah.
I watched that video the other day, dude. I love Al. God
yeah,
bless his
I was
soul,
the guy.
man.
Yeah, I was the guy.
Before I leave, because he's getting older, but hey, hopefully he's got more life and long life to live. Next year, I'm going to go see George Benson live. I cannot wait, bro. I
need to put that on my list too.
Dog, I cannot wait. And you know what, man? Look, I will say this live on this podcast as we're taping it, but live. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
If Kel told me you in the West Coast, you in the West Coast. He told me
I'm in Las Vegas.
Okay, you're still.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas. You still
cool.
Can't find me.
Cool. So if I find out George Benson is coming there, I'm flying to you, and we will go together.
Boom, boom.
I will fly to you directly, and we will go to that concert together.
And I'm a team player, so either I'm buying the ticket, I'm buying the hotel room, or I'm buying the flight. So
My
let's figure
man,
we will make it work.
we will figure that out because I know he's
And if
coming.
we need to get to LA, you know what I mean? I'm all the way down. George Benson, like I am George Benson
T-
is,
t-
yeah.
t- See, you
Yeah.
wrestling folks on this podcast, we going somewhere. Y'all don't get it.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
don't get this. This gives
Let's
me
turn it
chills.
around.
We
We
get
can't lose them.
we can't
Let's go
lose them.
back. We can't lose them.
Listen. I will. Last thing I will say about this is y'all. I get chills talking about George Benson and Al Jarreau. I was raised off this stuff. The stuff my grandmoms and moms put me on.
Yeah,
I grew
yeah,
up on Dave Matthews Band, and man, come on, bro.
yeah.
He'll be here all night talking about
People be like, what do you think it would have been like if you would have met Michael Jackson? I start tearing up. I'm like, I would have lost it. I wouldn't have known what to say. I would have lost it. You know what I
right
mean?
facts.
Yeah,
Like Mike.
yeah,
This man literally pops up from under the stage and just stands there
yeah.
and for 15 minutes and don't move. And don't move. Who does that?
Nobody. Days
Like
is gone. You can't do that no more. You can't do that no more.
you can't do people don't do that. No, people you have so much access to these folks, bro. They like, oh,
Yeah,
hey, what's up, bro? Hey, I saw so down the
yeah,
street.
yeah, yeah.
Mike would stand there and have grown men
Dang,
crying. Grown men.
dang.
That's different, bro. That's not
Yeah,
people ain't that famous no more. That impact
yeah.
ain't happening no more, bro.
No, not no more. Not no
Like,
more.
dog,
Not no more.
I hope so. I like to send the olive branch out to you as well. So how about this? We make this happen. If he come when he come if the schedule's aligned, he comes to Florida. We bring you out here and we get you on the Swerve City podcast as well in person. And with me and Swerve, and we go see the
Yeah,
concert. And we flip
I'm
it
with
that way
that.
too.
I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm with that. Yep.
That
100.
sounds like a plan. We'll work
100.
it out
You
either
ain't,
way.
yeah, you ain't going to somebody, you ain't going to the concert with somebody that don't know words. Like, yeah, I'm not, he don't give me chills, but I'm on Benson just like you, man.
I feel you. I
Yeah,
was getting chills talking about it
yeah,
because I just don't get to talk about what people like this
yeah,
about that, especially people in my age range. People like
yeah.
who?
Last thing, and then we'll move forward. But I saw Al Jarreau. This was probably around 2012 or 2011. He came to Cleveland and he was playing with the Cleveland Orchestra.
Right.
And you know how he get down, right? So there was a moment in the concert where there's no one's playing any music at all, and then he starts to direct the band, the orchestra, with his mouth. And as he would play it, and he would point, and then the other instruments would start to join in. And that for me, I think was kind of a moment that you're gonna feel with George Benson, where you just like in the moment, this man can do no wrong. This is that moment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro. Last thing, brother, before we close this out, we'll do that segment for another time. The thing I
Okay.
want to ask you is when it's all said and done, right now, God forbid, not anything happens. But right now, if you can say, you know what, 30-something years on this earth, I've done it. I've done it. Do you feel like you've fulfilled your purpose so far?
Yes. Um, I've definitely fulfilled my purpose. I've done everything in the ring that I want to do. There's some other things that I am running at full speed, and I'm knocking down some barriers and making some big things happen. At this point, what could I say would be before I leave this earth is something that I have to do. Would probably be the acting. I think seeing myself on the big screen, seeing myself in a theater, I think that would kind of give me a sense of satisfaction. I think beyond the belts, even. I think beyond the belts. Yeah. When I first started doing commentary, that was like there was nothing else. There was nothing else that could be done for me. It was like this is I've been wanting to do commentary and stuff like that since I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. I've always watched football and listened to how they commentated, and I just loved it. And then when I got a little bit older and I really started like focusing on boxing, I would be thinking things and they didn't say it, and I was like, "Fuck, they should have said this, or they should have said that." And I remember like seeing somebody do commentary. I was like, "Yeah, he was pretty good, but where did they get a load of me?" And I think people have seen me do commentary and heard me, but y'all ain't heard the best of me. Y'all ain't heard me.
Mm.
I ain't been able to do it consistently enough
Oh,
to really dazzle y'all and make y'all. Here, I'll give you an example. I did the Olympic Games last year. They did the 2021 game. They did the 2020 games just
right,
last summer.
right.
And I was given the chance to do the boxing commentary. I worked alongside a gentleman by the name of, wow, I'm losing his name just right now. Losing his name, Dave Harmon. Dave
Mm.
Harmon
Okay.
worked on the HBO series, Boxing After Dark. That's how far back he goes with producing. So I work with him, and I'm a sponge, listening to everything, taking in everything, learning the whole nine. The way we did the commentary, we have two rooms. We have the producer in one room.
Right.
We have a glass where he can see us, but we also have audio in our ears so we can hear him. And then myself and my co-pilot, we are separated by a drape. So we could move the drape and look at each other, but beyond that, we're basically in our own room watching the fight on the screen.
Right.
Is championship night, a woman's bout is taking place, and I commentated the fight. Dave comes in the room after I commentated the fight. He says, you know, Shawn, what you did right there, that was special. I said, what I do? He said, you know what? It was very clear. I mean, it was evident from the beginning of the round of the first round who was going to win that fight. He said, but what you did was you kept me entertained. You kept me intrigued. You kept me wanting to see this fight. I mean, the way you just did that was special. I said, I mean, I just was doing. He said, yeah. He said, but here's what happens. He says, the fight carries the commentary, but sometimes commentary has to carry a fight. He said,
Hmm.
you did both. He said, we knew who was going to win, but the way you commentated it, you gave us hope that something was going to happen. He said, but then the other girl performed so well that you gave us everything we wanted to know about her and to see about her. He said, that was really special. Don't lose that. And I thought to myself, man, I was made for this because I've been dying to do something like this for a long time. Nobody taught me how to do that. I didn't even know that I was doing it. I was made for this, you know. So
Amen.
I when I started doing the commentary, man, I fell in love with it immediately. And you know, I starved for it now.
Look, thank you, brother. And the one thing I want to give you as well, as long as we're throwing the olive bread before we wrap this up here, is um, I know I'm a big fan of your show, man. And I watch when you have Roy Jones on and many other great people you've had
Yeah,
on, and also
yeah.
too when you've also want your testimony and I love your co-host, man. I love your co-host, bro. That dude is amazing.
And
Yes, he's hilarious.
yeah,
So, my story, a little bit quick testimony before we wrap this up here.
yes,
I
sir.
I have I'm a music producer. I produce music for wrestlers all over the world, theme songs, AEW, WWE, produce music for those guys, and that is my main thing. I also do a little bit of motivational speaking. I have a condition called COPD, which is
Mm,
a lung disease,
mm,
and it comes from the high blood pressure that I told you about.
mm.
So a lot of what I live through is basically a stronger chronic asthma in a way that I just got diagnosed with.
Oh,
So a lot of what I'm doing and speaking about is not only my career in wrestling, not only my career with music, but my career with life as well, and overcoming and learning how
yeah,
to manage and live with certain things that
sure.
you can live a long life like anybody else, but learning the discipline and the mental discipline and the trajectory and the story of what
Yeah.
I've had to go through with that, with my career in music, performing, doing things of that nature. So if you ever want someone different that can tell a story. Also, I got a little boxing knowledge too. I know a lot of the history of the historic fights. I'm not saying I know everybody, but I know the main guys. I know the main guys. I know
sure.
I know a lot of the classic fights. So
Yeah.
anything, if you ever need someone on that's a homie that has a different story on your wonderful show, brother, I'm here. I'm available.
I will keep that in mind.
Keep
I
it in
will
mind.
100% keep that in mind.
We'll we could to talk about different things, health, different things in life too. So I want to thank you, sir. I know you have a family, wonderful family to get to. And thank you for giving me your time. You are a blessing. And thank you for the motivation. And hopefully we make that concert happen. And
hey, that sounds like a plan, man. The plan is made. It's just a matter of time for him to release what do you call it?
A schedule,
a tour, a tour schedule.
Yeah. So
It's
we'll
only a matter
definitely
of time.
I will definitely look that up, keep that updated. I appreciate you, good sir. You, your family. Tell Pops what's up for all
I will.
that you've done for me, motivation wise, all you've done for the people, you will continue to do for the people. You know, Showtime, Shawn Porter, give them the social medias where they can follow. I know they already know you the man, but just to tell them.
Man, everybody's not a fan of mine. And the funny thing was, I was thinking about this earlier today. I said, if you don't know me, if you've never met me before, 5 minutes after speaking to me, you're a fan of mine. And I mean, I say that as humbly as possible.
Facts. I feel the same way.
I just kind of, you know, there's, you know, it's what it is. Anyway, Showtime Shawn P is all of my social media. We have the Port Away podcast. That's on YouTube. I always tell people check it out on YouTube. That's where you get to see it all, but you can definitely listen to it. And we keep you just as entertained if you're listening to it as if you are watching it. The one thing I will say about the podcast, it is boxing based, but you don't have to be a boxing fan to watch it.
Amen.
You can still learn some things. And even beyond that, listen to my motivational message at the end of every episode. There's always going to be something there for you. Beyond that, man, just keep looking out. It's going to get bigger and better.
Amen, brother. God bless you, bro. Thank you for the time. This is Teasy Table Podcast, Season 3, Episode 1. We got one of my heroes, one of the best in the world, one of the GOATs, Showtime Shawn Porter. And like he said, man, after 5 minutes, you shouldn't be a fan after. You should be a fan after this interview because he gave you some jewels. He gave you some fun. He gave you wrestle fans what you needed. So we're good, man. May God bless, brother, and peace out, man.
Thank you, sir.
Let go.